Are you ready? Can Crushers. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark the Mark Martinez.
Hey, it's time for another Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, as you heard from Ringside Rain, Mark the Mark Martinez, and I have an interview coming for you. It's spotlight time here on Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, and my guest this week, all the way from Oklahoma, heading back out to the Sooner State, is Cam the CODA. So, yeah, super excited to talk to Cam. We're going to talk about the CODA brand, and there might be a little bit of a takeover here in the next couple weeks with members of the CODA brand. So, wait and see what happens as life consistently continues to progress around me. We're going to tell you guys right up ahead of time, this is an unedited interview. You know, all interviews kind of pre-recorded and everything. Then I do an intro and an outro, pulling down the fourth wall. Unedited interview because a lot has gone on in my life this week, kind of just squeezing moments in. And we'll get into all that when I talk to Sir Michael Jenks in the weekend show. But this is Cam the CODA's time. So, guys, make sure you listen to this. It's really awesome. We find out a lot about Cam and in wrestling and what the brand means to him. So, yeah. Guys, don't forget to check out our WWE affiliate code. It's in the show notes. You know, if you're going to buy a new Jade shirt or CM Punk, you know, you're going to root for him while he's on the shelf, or Cody or whomever, use our code. Sometimes you'll get a discount, sometimes you won't. That's the way the affiliate code works around here. I'd like to say you get 10% off all the time. You don't. But if you know you're going to buy something, use it. You help support us, and that's awesome. We also have a discount code, though, for Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, shirts, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and the Hooligans have down there. You'll get 10% off when you use the promo code Can Crushers. Capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. And again, you'll save 10%. Where can you listen? Well, anywhere. IMDb, iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Boxcast, Buzzsprout. The list goes on and on and on. But don't forget about Podurama, guys. And I've been using this for a while now. Seamless. In the garbage truck, out of the garbage truck, to this machine, to that machine. Continues to go as I throw it over to different devices, and it just kind of stays right where it's at. It's just Bluetooth its way over. It's awesome. It's very seamless. Works with everybody. It's an app you can download. And right now, if you sign up for a lifetime membership, you get 50% off. So that's pretty cool. Say Can Crusher sent you when you're doing all that stuff. They're like, oh my God, Can Crusher, yay! Don't forget to join our conversations on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to be a part of a show as well, you'd like to hear your own spotlight, like Cam CODA or Katrina Creed or people in the past that we've had on, you know, make sure you check us out. Or send us an email, cancrushers69@gmail.com. So join us. We'd love to hear your story, why you got into professional wrestling and all of that. All right, here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow, and then when we return, we'll have the interview with Cam the CODA.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connects emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, y'all, this is Sam Houston. I got to tell you, if you want to know the latest in wrestling and what's going on, tune into Can Crushers every time it comes on. I know I will. Later, y'all.
Welcome back to Can Crushers, folks. You heard in the intro how intrigued I am with this guy because he's got a pseudo family, as I said in the intro, like the Heenan family, maybe like the Dark Order, maybe I don't know, but he's got an array of characters. Is probably the best way of saying it. That will beat your ass, and he's the leader of this whole group. Cam the CODA. Cam, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. You know, that was a good introduction. I'll give you that. That was crazy.
That came off the top of my head, by the way, bro. This is how I roll. Thank you, though.
Starting off good. Can't make me mad yet.
I don't want to make you mad. I want to be your friend, and I want to make fun of one of your members, essentially, through this whole podcast.
You know what? I mean, I feel like they all kind of mess with me a little too much, so I'll do – that sounds perfect, honestly. I'll do whatever.
The other couple, I don't mind, and we'll get to the names, but because we haven't mentioned his name in 30 seconds, it's Malik that we have to poke fun at. That's it. I love everybody else in your group. Malik is just a prima donna.
No, yeah, that adds up. That's definitely accurate. I mean, on screen, off screen, I'll tell you, he's the same exact person, honestly.
He really is. He really is. But I love him. Shoot, fourth wall down. All right, let's get into the business of the podcast, find out more about Cam and all of this and how your knowledge in professional wrestling works, that you got this group together. But we'll do the rewind first. Who introduced you to professional wrestling? Mom, Dad, Aunt Sally, Uncle Joe? How did you find this crazy sport?
I don't know. It's crazy because, well, I don't know how much research you did. Do you know what a CODA is?
No. Little to none, because I love the stories more, honestly.
Okay. So a CODA is a child of a deaf adult. So my house was pretty much always quiet. You know, my mom was just always doing her own thing, you know, on her phone or something. So when I was young, I would just be laying in bed next to her because she's just on her phone and doing whatever. And I just have the TV on. And one day it just randomly came up. And I just was hooked ever since. Like, it wasn't even a crazy episode or anything. It was just a random backstage segment. And I was like, this looks sick. And then I was just hooked from there.
Do you remember it? Like, what the segment was?
Well, it's weird because the timeline doesn't make sense. But the first thing I remember, it's going to be crazy, was the ECW strip poker episode.
Oh, jeez. That rolled into my head.
First time I saw it. But I think that's the first time I started retaining that I saw it. Because before that, I think, like, I had the action figures. I remember, like, I had two Edges. One had a T-shirt on, and the other one didn't. I was like, oh, perfect, they're different. But then I saw that episode, and I was like, you know what? You know, wrestling's not that bad.
You brought up action figures, which was, at one point in my life, is what I lived for. Fans across the board have probably heard this, but I'll throw it out there real quick. At the age of 18, we were going to Walmart at midnight when their truck came in, and not attacking the associates there, but strong-arming them to find the wrestling boxes of the Mattels or the Jacks or anything like that. Me and my buddy would leave after his family would close the pizzeria, and we'd be the first one there to get the truck. I mean, we fought over a Razor Ramon one time because there was only one in the box. So I love action figures. I really do. I don't buy them anymore because they're $30, $40 at a pop. So my long-winded question is, do you still collect? Do you still have any of the ones from your childhood? Did you have them all?
I honestly, when I was younger, I was spoiled with it. Like, every single time we'd go to Walmart or any store that would sell them, I'd get like a new Jax, like Carlita or Shelton Benjamin or something. But randomly one day, you know, sometimes you just, you know, like, oh, toys aren't that sick. I'm gonna grow out of it. So then there were a couple of years where I just stopped. But But then it seems like it's just been an off and on thing. Like I haven't for a few years, but I feel like one day I'll just buy another. Like it definitely got revived when the AEW figures came out.
Yep.
But then now they're kind of just all sitting in the closet. I don't have any of the ones when I was younger because, I was a kid, so I wasn't biting them or anything. But I got through that phase where I was like, yeah, let me just like make my own and paint them and stuff. So I regret it so bad. But I got a couple of the newer ones just sitting in the closet.
I haven't bought any in a while. My wife bought me. You brought up AEW, and those are the perfect ones because personally, no Britt, personally, no Wardlow. Those are the two that I wanted, and those came Christmas for me. But it's a sickness now. Now I want a Cody from there. Now I want, now I want them all again, and I just know it's not feasible. It really isn't. Anybody that does it, good for you. Good for you. I'm glad because I understand it. But man, it's just. I don't know how you can if you have kids,
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's gotten so expensive because I remember I was just happy getting the $10 basic ones, and then it just kept getting crazier and crazier.
So let's talk about some of your favorites. Once you discovered ECW poker, essentially, how much more did you just engulf yourself in it? Who were some of your favorites as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird during that time because it didn't matter who was in the main event to me ever. Like, none of them really stuck out to me. I was always attracted to that mid-card scene. Like I mentioned earlier, like Carlito, Shelton Benjamin. Punk was, as soon as he was on TV, I was like, this guy's sick. But it was always those mid-card guys I was really interested in, even if there was nothing really going on. Like, I was a big Chris Masters guy.
Wow.
Not a lot going on, but I was like, he's sick. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the spotlight isn't on them, so I'm like, oh, these guys over here are doing something different.
I get it, though. I do. And you're talking about Punk when he was in that straight edge or the Nexus type of...
I mean, ever since he debuted on ECW, I was a fan, but it got really big like when he turned heel as World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay.
When he cashed in on Hardy, that was probably when it really changed over, and I was like, oh, this guy could be my favorite.
Yeah. Definitely one of mine. We could go down a long list of things that I think are right or wrong with himself as a human being, but as a professional wrestler, man, he's tattooed on my sleeve. So I love him. I really do.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about some of your background as a child growing up. You talked about the CODA. So how does that affect everything? Were you in sports? Were you a drama kid? Like, how growing up had to been rough?
I don't know. It's weird because I feel like a lot of people would say that. Like, they're always like, "Oh, wow, I'm sorry," or "That's rough," or anything like that. I guess I just never thought about it like that because it was so normal to me. Because even my mom, I would ask her, I'd be like, "If you could change it, would you?" And she was always just like, "Nah, I mean, God made me this way," and I was like, yeah, "Fair enough." So, I mean, I never really thought about that way. I mean, she put me in any sport that she wanted. I was playing basketball up until high school. It just kind of, I think it was anything to get me out of the house just so I could do more things.
So you weren't a bum, essentially. Yeah, I get it. Loves the mom for that. That's really cool that she did that. And I know, I'm not going to say I'm sorry because this is going to sound like a backhanded compliment. I don't mean it like that, but congratulations. That's amazing. Like I love your answer is the best way that I'm saying it is. It's what you were dealt and you powered through it. So that just shows so much of your integrity. So yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, it was weird because I think something that people don't really think about, like always the questions I would get in school is like, "Oh, you could cuss when you're walking away from your mom," and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess," but it was always, I think, quieter in the house, so it was harder to make friends because I just didn't speak up as much. And I think that's even transitioned over into wrestling a little bit. Like, I'll have some trouble like public speaking, but then as soon as I go out there, I'm just like, well, we're here now. I just gotta deal with it, and I just go balls to the walls, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna throw the bullshit flag right there. Listen, Usually we let you do everything at the end of the show about your socials and everything, and we'll let you do that again anyway, but you have a vlog that you make yourself, God love you, and ass sometimes. So the whole quietness is out the window. You cannot say that anymore.
Give me one example.
Well, you hang out with Malik. That's the biggest part of your issue.
I'd argue you do too. How many times you've interviewed him?
Enough. I know. I know. I do hang out with them.
As much as I rag on Malik, I'll also say this. There's a reason he's under, the brand. He's a talented athlete. No matter how annoying he is, you were talking about Punk earlier. It doesn't matter how difficult someone can be if the talent's there.
Agreed. You put me in my place. I'm eating crow right now. I completely agree. I completely agree. So when was that aha moment for you that you were going to get into professional wrestling, and how did that come about?
She's going to love that I say this, but I have to give all the doing to my fiance because she moved in with me and my mom because, she had to get out of the house and we were just trying to earn enough money to get our own place. But then one day she was just like, let's just do it. Let's just move. So we moved to the city. And that's when I realized that if I wanted to wrestle, like this is kind of the place to do it. Like I'm closer now because before it would have been over an hour. And now when I started training, it was only 20 minutes away. So I really have to thank her for pushing me to do that because even with wrestling, I'll be really stressed out sometimes, but she'll just be like, hey, you just got to go do it. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair enough.
I love that. I love your fiance for thinking of that and bringing it all up. How did you go about finding where you started training? Was there a couple in the mix, or it was like, no, I know I'm going to this one because?
Before we moved, I was like, I guess it's the time to start researching it. So I was looking at all the schools, all the options, and I talked to 2 or 3, but I was so ready to get into it. I was like, just give me the best deal. Let me get in there. And, I started training there, and that's actually where I met Malik to get it all started.
Nice. And he probably, again, I will throw punches later on at him, but you have Malik as you walk into a building. He is going to, know you or not, open his arms and welcome you in because he's that great of a human being.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. That's fair.
All right.
He wasn't good.
All right.
Well, my first day there, for whatever reason, he skipped training. I'll say it. He wasn't there. My first day, he was not there. There was only about 2 people there on my first day. The second time I went the next week was when everyone else was there.
So
that's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to throw that out there.
So let's talk about that first day. How was it? What were your emotions going in? How'd you feel after? And a couple of weeks down the line, did you ever say, maybe not?
It's interesting because no matter what, I don't think it'll ever go away because I'm just constantly anxious about what I can do in wrestling. And I think that's why the brand works so well. It gives me these incredibly talented people that I can bounce off of. But at the beginning, I was just going to be a wrestler. And I was just anxious every day going to training, even during training. I was just thinking about it the whole time. And I think it's probably just because I put so much pressure on myself. But no matter what, I was just freaking out the whole time. And then maybe like at the very end, I'm like, oh, I'm a little more comfortable, but it's already over, so it doesn't really matter.
I get it. Anxiety on this side as well always creeps up. Have it be probably more suited to be, okay, this side is what we're doing right now. But commentating or ring announcing, there's always that more than butterflies. Do you know what I mean, Cam? It's more than butterflies. You almost have that shutdown moment. But when you go out in front of the crowd or you get into your circle, a la the brand, essentially, something like that, it releases, and then you're, air quotes, home, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say the CODA brand is what started all of that. Like, because before that, I was just going to shows. I started vlogging before I was even gonna debut. So I was just going to shows to make that content and to talk to the people that I train with. But then once I made my debut and then we actually got the CODA brand going, I started actually feeling like, okay, maybe I can start doing this and maybe I can get good at it.
You are good at it. Don't say can. You are good at it. I enjoy, a couple weeks ago when we scheduled this, yada, 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 I went through a few of them and I'm like, I like this. I like this whole vlog thing. I wish more people would do it because it is a look into lives of professional wrestlers in the business and out of the business. And it really, I think that's what a lot of fans look for now. We know the stories of Randy Orton and CM Punk and yada, yada, yada. To build that fan base, like somebody in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or, Poconos, Pennsylvania, they're going to be like, why do I want to listen to this podcast of Cam? Yada, yada, yada. And we just continue, oh, okay, so we get in the meat and the potatoes here, and then you keep filling it in. Now people are begging, when's Cam going to come to New Era Pro Wrestling in the Poconos? Well, I don't know. We'll have to look at something. Maybe at the end of 2024, him and Malik will make the road trip. It's because people. It's another way to build and to reach out to your fans. Again, very long-winded today. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good.
So, manager, the brand, all of that. Let's talk about you, and then we'll transition to the brand a little bit more. Tell me who Cam is. Like, who's some of your biggest influences of professional wrestling? And how much tape study do you do on that person or all?
I don't know. I'm interested to see, once I say these names of just who I look up to, what your reaction will be, because I feel like I'm like none of these people. I'm interested in them, and that's kind of it. Like we talked about, Punk is my all-time favorite, but then number 2 we got RVD. I feel like I've just always really connected with him. And then after that, the 3 through 10, that list that it could be, it always switches all the time. But in terms of managers, I don't really look at that many people. I feel like I have this different perspective of it where I just look at wrestlers to learn what I can do, because I don't want to be boxed in as a manager. I mean, I don't know how much you've seen, but I get hit way too often.
A lot.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, if people just aren't a fan or what, but you know what? I want to take a pause real quick and just say that I am about to announce some big awareness is a good word for it. I want to bring awareness to some manager safety, and that'll be coming up in the future. But
I love manager safety. I agree with that.
It's an issue. I don't know, and I don't know if it's just me lately or what, but everyone's been dogging me, and I think it's time to bring some awareness. Like, I don't get it. I'm not a wrestler. I'm just there to look good.
That one that's on your commissioner / owner, listen, you're part of the business. He should have somebody out there taking care of you, because that's just not right. It isn't. You are out there to look good and to be in the corner of, your stable, essentially, but you're not a wrestler.
Exactly. Yeah. And going back to what you're talking about with inspirations, like one thing I am trying to study is just like, I've been watching the whole year right now of 2003 SmackDown. I feel like that time period was just a really good time in terms of me wanting to watch it and what I was looking up to at that time. So I'm getting a lot of like Kurt Angle, some team angle. Like, I'm not just looking at managers or wrestlers or anything like that. I want to see the team building. And I feel like that time period is a really good time to do it.
I will always push you back to the Heenan family, because they were all a mixed match of people, and, they were the greatest team of that time. But I'll tell you, I agree with your Punk. I do see your Punk. I'm going to ask you about RVD, blatantly. I'm going to ask you about that. But if you want to throw a manager in, because of you always getting beat up and shot around and everything like that, Jimmy Hart stood out for me, because Jimmy Hart was essentially the punching bag of WWF at the time. Heenan was not untouchable. He got hit every once in a while, but Jimmy Hart was taking beatings. Kind of like you.
You know what? Actually, as you were saying that, I was just trying to think about it, and I actually do have a manager that I study, and I don't know how popular of an answer it is, but maybe it'll explain a lot about me once I say it. But I'm a really big Leo Rush, Bobby Lashley supporter. And I think
it does
that
stand
is
out.
such a good comment. It was very brief, but I think it just adds up a lot.
When he was his pseudo hype guy, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. You're dead on. You're right. But let's get to the RVD. You love him. What do you see in RVD in you?
I mean, I don't even know if it's anything in me specifically. I think it's just his attitude of always, it didn't matter what he was told to do. He was always just going to be RVD.
Yeah.
And I think I've been listening to his podcast and even in interviews over time. That's something he's always stuck by is like, you might not like me, but I'm RVD.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can tell he has a controversial, not opinion, but just how he carries himself. A lot of people probably disagree with what he stands for, but he kind of just doesn't care. And that's fine.
I like that. I like that a lot. So you brought up tape study that, a little Leo Rush or stuff like that. How far back do you do on your tape study? Will you go back and watch, a Fuji, an Albano? I know Albano, mostly known as, the good guy tag team manager, but he was a bastard once in a while as well. Do you watch anybody way back?
I mean, I'm definitely open to it. It's like, I think I'm thinking about it as if it's like projects, like how I'm watching all of that 2003 right now.
Right.
So once I get through that, I'll probably be like, okay, now let's go to a different era and look through this certain time period.
I like the whole era study. I do. 2003, all of it. That's really cool. And you're just breaking it down, just doing SmackDown, or is that what you said? Listen, I'm a gnat.
Yeah, right now I'm doing SmackDown, but I think when I finish, I'm just going to move over to Raw.
Okay, I get it. I like it. It's different, but it fits you, right? It gives you that whole persona of how to build from story to story, angle to angle.
Exactly. I also feel like you can get so much characters evolving. Because if you're just studying one person, you're just going to see how that one person did over that time period. But I'm watching the whole show and just seeing it over time how it's being completely different.
I like that. I really do. I think maybe I'm going to not force that on to more wrestlers to think about, but I'll use it on my end saying, hey, do you just watch one show from, 1985 or whatever, because that's really cool. So if you could tell us in a few words who essentially the meat and potatoes of who Cam the CODA is, then who are you?
Oh, I mean, I'll give you just 2 words, honestly. I think the perfect word is just content creator. Because it doesn't matter if it's YouTube or Instagram. I mean, graphic design, video editing, wrestling, managing. I am just always creating something.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Now let's talk about the brand. How did all this come about? Before we get into like silly questions, everything, I want to give you your to-do for Malik and everybody else in the brand. How did this all come about? What did you see in them? What do you expect from them?
I'm actually really interested in this because I'm going to listen back and then listen as time goes on to the other members that are on here. But I want to hear all their answers because I feel like every single person is going to give you a different answer, especially with how it started. Because we have a few different point of views, is I guess the right way to say it.
Good, bad, or ugly?
You can think about exactly who wants to change the point of view. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
You know exactly who wants to change the story. Because I think half of us agree and then the other half disagree. But I will give Malik the credit of him giving me the opportunity to debut with him. Definitely got the ball rolling. But the CODA brand wasn't an official thing until about 3 months later, when I came out and shook Neo Genesis. I shook his hand, and I think it really came down to me seeing the talent in him, because I want to give Neo Genesis a shout out because he is currently injured. I'll say that first of all. I want him to get well soon. He's been out for a while.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but before that, even before the CODA brand, I feel like he was trying to do his thing and he wasn't picking up any wins, but I could just see the talent that he has. And it's just waiting for that opportunity, because he's going to go far. All it takes is him to recover and do what he's been doing. But once he found the CODA brand, I feel like it really brought a part of him out, because everyone wants to look at him as this little goofy, fun guy, but he can get down to business. And I think that's what started the CODA brand, was me coming out and shaking his hand and be like, I want to work with you. And then after discussing it, I was like, why do I have to limit myself, and why does he have to limit himself to being attached to each other? So we looked at other people and even being without each other, because the CODA brand, I want to make a point that it's not even a group. It's a family. You know what? Every good workplace can say that. It's a family. But I would compare it more to a sponsorship program.
An affiliate? Best word? Affiliate?
I would say coworkers, honestly,
Okay.
because we all love each other and we're best friends, but they are also now part of the sponsorship committee. Malik Mayfield, Neo Genesis, and Cappuccino Jones are the sponsorship committee. And it's going to be announced, by the time this comes out, it'll be announced that we are going to be sponsoring a new wrestler at Rampage Wrestling. So
Nice.
we're growing the family, but the sponsorship committee will always be those three.
And it doesn't matter where the CODA is, essentially. Maybe two are on one show, somebody else is, someplace else. You're always representing each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of it, is that I see something in them, whether other people see it or not. I think they can do great things. And I would like to think that they feel the same way about me, and that's what makes it work. I don't have to be there with them, whether it's something that they want to do personally, or a promoter just says, hey, don't bring that guy. Either way, they are able to just represent by doing the best they can and being the best that they are.
And is there an open application, or is it you as of scouting, or is this going to end up, smack me through the phone, Cam? Please tell me this isn't going to end up like NWO where everybody but Sting is in it, because this is going to be powerful. But if it goes down that line, woof.
We'll see. That's why I say that it's not a group or a faction, if you want to call it that. It's a sponsorship.
Okay. I love that answer. I really do.
So I could have 50 people in the CODA brand, but they aren't the sponsorship committee. They're just representing the brand.
Okay. I love the answer. I really do. I definitely see where you're going, and it's not just in one fed. It could pop up all over. You never know.
Like, I would love to take this as far as it could go. I want one member in every state. I want someone in Europe. As long as they're wearing their shirt, their CODA brand shirt with their own colors, they can do whatever they want.
I love it. We need to talk off air. But let's take a moment and, break from wrestling. Let's do some silly questions, because this is what really breaks people down sometimes. What do you do day off stuff? I understand content creator and wrestler, yada, 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 all of this big stuff. But you're taking a moment to breathe and enjoy life, as we all should. What do you like to do?
Well, I genuinely don't think I have a day off. Because if we get down to it, there are so many hats that I'm wearing, that even video editing, Logan Knight, I'll shout him out. He'll send me his clips. I'll edit his vlog for him. anything for a quick buck.
Right.
But I'm just always like graphic design. I have someone in my DMs right now who are working out his next t-shirt design. So if I'm not at a show, I'm still doing something wrestling related. It's just those last few hours of the day that I really try to wind down. I mean, I'll just sit there, relax, do my tape study. You know, we're binging Friends right now. That's the big thing going on. I've never seen it before. This is my first run through.
Really?
Yeah, she's been pushing me to watch it for years, and I said, okay, I'll give in. And now I like it. So,
how many times has she watched Friends?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's been that many. Only like 2 or 3, maybe.
Okay, not bad. So
she's more of a Degrassi person.
Oh, you said you like Friends though? You're into it?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good. I gave it a chance, and I'm liking it.
Nice.
I think we're on like season 5 right now.
Oh, you got plenty more to go. You got a lot to go. Yeah, a lot of big moments to come.
Yeah,
it shocks me that you've never.
Yeah, we just got to Chandler and Monica. Oh wait, spoiler! We just got to Chandler and Monica getting together.
Okay, nice. Be prepared. A lot of craziness happens. We love the show. We'll watch it on replays all the time. We fall asleep to it. Yada yada yada. So when there's a nothing to do day, we will pop into Friends and watch it. So yeah, kudos to her. What is this strange? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but that's about all I've been doing lately. It's just been wrestling and Friends is literally it.
It's not a bad life. Trust me.
I will be taking a break to watch the Rumble. I'll say that. This will be out by then, but
this will definitely be. But who are your picks?
I feel like everyone's seen those Sports Illustrated reports that came out the last few days.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to change my answer. I'm sticking with Punk, not just because of the earlier reasons, but I just feel it. It makes a lot of sense.
Punk and Bailey for me.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually the same for me.
Those are my two. Because Becky can get her shot at Elimination Chamber.
That's why I'm also going with Cody at Elimination Chamber.
Right. Does Cody end the story at WrestleMania? This will be way before us. What?
These reports are making it scary.
It really is. But this is my favorite time. I said this on every podcast recently. From January until the end of April, it is my favorite time in the WWE era because so much, barring injuries, poor Seth, at this time, but barring injuries, it's crazy within itself. Now you throw Seth in with this injury, and it changes the aspect of WrestleMania already, at least in all of our crazy minds, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got faith that he'll be back. I think they're going to hold off to announce it until either day of or week before. Yeah. But I got faith in him.
I do too. Listen, there's way too much money on the table. Sorry, bad pun. He'll limp through the match to get the buck.
If Cody can do it, Seth can do it.
Right? I agree. All right. What's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you?
Strangest thing that ever happened to me? I don't know if it's the strangest, but the first thing that comes to mind is I got lost in a forest once for the Boy Scouts, and that was definitely a hard time. I probably was only like 20 minutes, but I was real stressed. I was crawling through thorns. It was crazy, and I drugged this other kid with me because I went down the wrong path. But that was probably the strangest.
Okay, Boy Scouts. When no one left behind, yada yada yada, and it was just good. Did you have a compass or anything?
No, I'm a fool. I don't even think I wanted to be there.
Okay. I got lost in a cornfield as a child. Just took off through the corn of one of these mazes. Being the idiot that I was and still am, literally they had to shut down the cornfield and just like everybody went in from like different sides till they could find me. I got my ass beat when I got home.
Sounds like a movie.
Right? Yeah, Children of the Corn. I was young, I was crying, but I was still running amok through that cornfield.
Yeah, I think we kind of relate on it.
Yeah.
It's like a bonding moment.
Listen, sometimes people send in questions, and
Oh,
yeah, and they're random. But
okay.
I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to ask this one, but I feel, I saw a content creator, you get it. So I thought, I'm going to save this one. And it's not from anybody that you know. It's not from a professional wrestler. It's a fan from Can Crushers. So here it
Oh,
is.
okay.
Would you rather walk around naked for a year or go to jail for a year?
Oh man, are there any like?
No,
I
that's
don't know.
it. That's
Maybe
all they put.
I feel like I shouldn't ask any questions because then it's like it can get shut down. You know what? I'm gonna say I'm gonna be naked for a year, but then I'm just gonna move to like a nudist colony or something, so it'll work out.
Deal. Perfect. Perfect. I like that. And as we started this year, there's a wrestler that has been on the show before that wants to ask you it. So here it is.
All right, my name is MIT, and my question for you is, if you could pick 3 wrestlers to sit down with for dinner, who would they be?
Any 3 wrestlers? You know what? I'm gonna say Cappuccino Jones, Malik Mayfield, and Neo Genesis.
See, that was kind of a gimme. I figured that was going to be your answer when I heard him ask this the last time. So I'll give it to you. Now throw them out the window and give me 3 more. It's not going to be that easy.
I don't know. We're all spread out, so it's pretty rare you'll see us all 4 together.
Right, but you are associates, you are sponsors, you are affiliated together. So,
brother, all right, I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to think of the situation where I can be quiet, but I can just see the chaos happening. I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and CM Punk.
You like chaos.
Yeah, but I also think there could be some good moments in there too.
Oh, I agree. There could be some great moments in there.
We just got to work past it.
We have to work past it. All right, my last silly question. Who would play you in a documentary?
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to hear anything about this, but I strongly disagree with this. But I've been told on a handful of occasions that I look like Leonardo DiCaprio.
At a glance, you do. I agree.
But you know what? I don't know if they could make him look younger because I would assume it'd be over my whole career. You know what? Another one I get told I look like Gerard Way. I'll go Gerard Way.
Okay, I like those. All right, from silly to the hardest. Wrestling continues to change. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes ugly. There's all things like stigmas and all that wrapped around it. If you could change one thing in professional wrestling to kind of get rid of it, what do you want to eliminate from the business?
You know what? I didn't think I was going to have an answer, but then it came to me. And I tell the CODA Brand boys this all the time. It's such a big pet peeve of mine. And it's not even a wrestler doing it. It's a company doing it. I hate when different titles look the exact same with just one difference. Like, you can go through most women's titles and men's titles. It's usually the same with just a white strap.
Oh, yeah. Everything WWE has done in the last 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I think every championship should have a unique design.
I like that. It's never been brought up, but I like that a lot because I always go back. My favorite all-time title is the NWA television title, the red strap one. It was just so different in that era, and I still think it would hold true now. I think it just stood out. Plus communications and all that wrap around. I've always loved that title. You just look at them now, and for a while, like you said, it was a black strap, a white strap, red, black background, blue background. They just looked generic. There was no prestige. It was just you're holding this moniker for whatever company. So I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if you even look at a lot of indie shows, not any specific ones, but you can see a good handful if you just try to look. You talked about the television title. A lot of companies will use that title. Like, that's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them use that. A lot of them use the U.S. championship that, like, Magnum TA had for a while as a championship. I mean, I get it that maybe rinse and repeat, and I'm not backpedaling, maybe rinse and repeat on some because, holy moly, there's millions of companies out there and only a handful of people that make belts, essentially, or at least good belts. And I said that, not Cam, so don't throw him under the bus. But I don't know how much that guy can do differently, right?
I mean, speaking of good belts, look at the CTC world title. I mean,
yeah,
one of the most important titles going, I'd say.
It is. It is. Let's talk about that. Give a little background about it.
Well, I will say it's not 100% original. I'll say that firstly. It is inspired by the DPW Tag Team Championship, but it's not exact. But it is. What's the best way to explain it? I've always said that you should have a prize that everyone in your brand or family or even wrestling promotion, everyone wants to strive for that prize, right?
Right.
And I think the CODA brand as a whole, I think it's just as important. So why not have a championship for it? Whether it's the CODA brand or the YouTube channel, it can be defended at any point. It's been won in a match. It's been won over rock, paper, scissors. The first ever champion, Malik, he won it in the finals of a tournament where every challenge was different. Finals were Mortal Kombat. You can win it in any way as long as it's filmed and put into the vlog. And I think it's the best thing going, but that's just me.
It is a great title. It is. What is your kind of favorite moment that's been around that title?
I wish I filmed it, but we were me and Malik were at a UWO show. He had to have just won it. It might have been his first defense. Maybe first or second. But we were at a show, and have you had Devion on here?
I have.
Devion and Malik, they love each other, but they don't get along the best. So me and Devion were talking, and we decided, Malik, he is on too much of a high horse. He's CTC champion. He's just doing great. So why don't we just, play a little joke on him? Just a little friendly joke. So we decided to hide the CTC title and ask him where it was immediately after. And I'm pretty sure he spent about 15 minutes looking for it. And he was really stressed because I had just bought it. And it was my own good hard money, and he was going to have to buy me a new one. But, we told him, and it was a really good time. I think that's my fondest memory. Or the time that we got promo pictures was probably the other one. Because we had it for all of us.
Yeah, all posing with it, yeah. It would be Malik that would lose a title, though, right? Like, physically lose it.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
He forgot. I'll say this. I'll call him out. He forgot his title at the last show we went to.
He's forgotten titles and gear, equipment a few times.
I know. Current NCWO Choctaw Nation champion, but he should probably just hand it over to me or something.
Yeah. Just, I'm not going to bring it. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I forget about it. Cam, what's the best advice that you've gotten in professional wrestling?
Honestly, probably to just keep going. And it's not like I've thought I was going to quit. I mean, everyone has doubts, but whether it's a bad night or something, I'll talk to the boys or a wrestler that I'm not too familiar with, but has told me to ask them for advice. And I'll just kind of, mention that, it hasn't been the best, but they keep reminding me and telling me, like, everyone's going to have a bad night. LeBron has a bad night. Kobe has a bad night. Like, all you got to do is just get over and keep going and learn from it. And that's probably the biggest thing is just I need to realize that one night isn't going to change everything if I just keep working at it.
Not only in wrestling, but that's great life advice. Have it be,
for sure,
you fall off a horse, literally stand up and dust yourself off, something in a bad day at work. So That's great advice overall. It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your goals? You personally, before we get to the brand, you personally, what's your goals for 2024?
Okay, for the year, I can give you that. If you were just asking in wrestling, it's gonna.
Yeah, what's your goals in
There's gonna be a
25
brand
years? No, what's just for this year?
for this year, I think to just be more active. I mean, in December, I hit my first year. Like, that was my anniversary. And I think I maybe did like one, maybe two shows a month. And I mean, that's not bad by any means, but I think I just want to do more and look back at the year and see, like, oh, okay, I did a lot. Because before, I thought I was just going to be a guy who maybe got on a show every couple of months. And now I'm doing it at least twice a month, it seems like. But I think that my goal is to just do it more and be out of the state more. But I think that's just the CODA Brand's whole answer. Every member just wants to get out of the state more.
Right. And I was going to spin it to the CODA Brand, but for travel for you, are there states that you'd like to knock off? And don't say all 50, please. I know it's a generic answer, but is there you have 5 states that you'd love to knock off this year?
I mean, for sure, all 50 is like the goal eventually, right?
Right.
But I think it doesn't have as much to do with the location, but the promotion. I really want to go to North Carolina for Deadlock. That's a big goal of mine. That's probably the top answer, like the only answer I could really give you. Unless it's, I'd like to have the experience of a WrestleMania weekend wherever it'll be. I think my goals are less location based and more based on what is going on.
I get it. You know what? That's probably the best way of looking at it, because I can call you tomorrow and say, "Hey, get up to Pennsylvania," or somebody can call you from Alaska. But is it a goal to go for? And I'm not knocking any promotion, holy moly, but is it a goal to go to Can Crushers Wrestling Federation? Not when there's me and 2 other people there, right? Where is it a goal to Deadlock? You said, or if you go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, IWC is one that you'd love to knock off, where Britton Wardlow came from. Or if AML in North Carolina is huge with George South. So I get those. I really do. And that's being truthful to yourself. And I love that answer as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why whenever you asked about my year, and I immediately was just going to talk about my overall wrestling career, because, I mean, everyone can tell you, like, okay, my goal is to be signed or in WWE or Impact. But I genuinely, like, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this, especially as a manager. You don't see a lot of managers get signed. But I think I just want to have the best time I can and really make the most of it. And that's one reason for the vlog, other than embarrassing the people that are on it. But I just want to make the most out of this and have the memories videotaped so that I can see them. And I mean, when it comes to the brand, it's really just getting them where they want to go. Like, I know they have specific goals. Right. So if I can help them get there, I'm going to do that in whatever way I can.
Also for the brand, is it more titles, more destruction, more of that in 2024?
I mean, it seems like it the way these boys are about to go at it. But I think for me personally, for the CODA Brand, I would love to see some trios gold. We just got to find the place to make it happen. Okay. But once that happens, we can talk about whatever else they want to do. But that's my main goal.
Okay. I love them all. We're going to do this doubly, okay? And you're like, what are you talking about, Mark? We're going to picture you, wrestler. If you could get in the ring, you get in the ring, wherever you get in the ring, who would you love to have a match against?
Well, I mean, okay, here's a part 2 to the question. Are you saying in terms of I want to punch them in the face so bad, or just because I love their work and I think they're great?
How about we do both? Because I love that.
Sure, you know what? I mean, and some of them might blend together. So, I mean,
okay.
Obviously, there's the CODA Brand. I'd love to do something with them, whether it's just a training situation or any of it. Just the 4 of us would be great. But if I'm actually stepping in the ring and I want to knock someone's brakes off, I will say this. Johnny Cove, that dude sucks. He's so whack. Him and that mullet are so crusty. Disgusting. Tino Valentino, me, Malik, and Cap. Neo was on commentary because he's got his hurt little ankle, but we don't judge him for that.
Sounds
Cap
like you just
and
did.
No, bro. I want that ankle to get as big and strong and healthy, and he eats his veggies. I want him to conquer the world. You can't act like I didn't say some nice things about him earlier.
No, you did. You did.
Yeah. You're trying to catch me, bro. I see who you are. Anyways, I think Johnny Cove is absolutely disgusting. Said that. Tino Valentino, too pretty. Hate that guy. He didn't like that we had a game plan at NCWO, and then. Probably the biggest answer, because it's the most recent. Johnny Cove has been off my back for a while. He's feuding with some guy in a star mask or something. But I think Dominic Whiteheart should get punched in the face. No little gimmick here. No little wrestling. We can go in the parking lot if he wants to fight. I don't care. He wanted to get involved with the Tino stuff. He's talking all this mess on Facebook. He sucks. He smells bad. His hair's goofy. His gear looks like it was made on 2K. He's dumb. Okay? He's the worst.
Some of this stuff on 2K is good, though. I'm just saying.
Well, guess what? His wasn't.
Okay.
So you can ask any of the boys. I bet they'll have a similar answer. I bet if you ask them about Dominic Whiteheart and say that Cam said he sucks, they're going to agree.
Oh, I'm sure. Especially Malik, right?
Yeah, for sure. He was the one who got involved. Malik was trying to put on a 5-star match with Tino. And then, obviously we had to get involved just because Tino wasn't really putting in that work. He wasn't really satisfying the crowd or anything. But then Dominic wants to get involved, and I just don't get it. I think he's still mad maybe that we formed the full CODA brand at his expense. But, get over it. It's not about you.
No, it's about you guys. It's about the CODA.
He was on the floor, bro.
Done. So you have to leave the CODA brand out of this because it's going to be your generic answer. I want you to give me wrestlers from the past or the present, or if you see anybody in the future, cool, let me know that as well. But some big names, essentially, is where I'm pushing you. If you could come up with that dream stable for yourself. And I know you don't like the word stable or family or whatever, but listen, I'm making you Bobby the Brain Heenan right now or Jimmy Hart or somebody like that. Give me 3 to 4 members of wrestling history that you would be like the hype guy for.
All right. I'm going to say Kurt Angle. But Kurt Angle right now. I want Kurt Angle this second. I want him to be the voice behind the voice sort of a thing, Mm-hmm. I want him to sort of bring that intensity that we know he can. He doesn't have to get in the ring, but I want him to be that veteran that's just there with us. And I'm going to say the Motor City Machine Guns. And then to round it out, I want Swerve Strickland, and I want that to be the stable.
I like it. I really do. I like how you have the veteran, you have the tag team, and yeah. Do you have a name, or are you gonna carry CODA over?
No, I feel like that's disrespectful to the boys. I can't do them like that. Let's just go with. Let's go with Evolution. That hasn't been done before. Let's go with that.
Okay. All right. This is your time now. I want to know where you're going to be, merch that you have, your socials, so people can follow you. We've talked about the blog a lot. Get more people to watch, your crazy trips and everything you do. So give everybody those.
All right, so it's Cam the CODA on everything. We got Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm not calling it X. It's Twitter.
It's Twitter.
Even on TikTok. Yeah, bro. If you say X, you're a loser. You're goofy. It's Cam the CODA on everything. I would only stress, if you're going to look at one thing, please just look at the YouTube channel. It's the one thing that I want to really grow this year. It's the one thing I care about. I think it's awesome that you can see all the stuff we're doing, and especially in the upcoming weeks. Sadly, or I don't know, maybe it's good depending who you ask. We have Cappuccino Jones versus Malik Mayfield on
That's going to be a
February
banger.
2nd. Yeah, February 2nd at Core. It is for Cappuccino Jones, his 918 championship. I don't know if I'm going to be ringside. It might be a little too emotional for me. If I'm not, me and Cap are going to be sitting over by the merch tables and trying not to lose it. But that's the big one. Then the next day, me and Malik are heading down to Texas for Rampage Wrestling. He's got another big title match going against Phil Noir, that goofy looking guy. And we're going to bring home that's like a brand new title or something. I think it's the Texas Heritage. We're going to change it to the CODA Heritage, I think we're going to do that. But those are the big two shows we got. By the time this is out, it'll already happened. I want you to go to the YouTube channel and see how those went, especially the Cappuccino and Malik one, because I'm stressed about it, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing that, I know people are like, oh, you've recorded so far out, Mark. Well, schedules are crazy, and it is what it is. But
it's not that far.
No, it's not that far. But if you're listening to this now and you didn't know anything about it, well, guess what? Right after you're done listening to this, you can jump right over and see all of the craziness.
You'll see me. You'll see highlights from the match. There will probably be a CTC championship defense in there. There always is. But, the YouTube is one I want to stress. And then, Pro Wrestling Tees always got to do the merch. Get a CODA Brand shirt. I mean, they're the coolest shirts around, honestly.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Honestly, I have not seen one person look bad in them. Especially, I hinted at it earlier. We're signing someone at Rampage Wrestling. Every member gets their own CODA Brand shirt and their own colorway. So, we got a new colorway coming out soon.
Well, there you go. Did I forget anything? Anything you also want to bring up here on the show?
I don't think so. I mean, you could have done some research. I won't judge you for it. You got me stuttering because I'm thinking about it too much. I got we got the cat Maple over here. He's chilling. He is I would like to say he's the official, what's it called? What do you call it? Mascot. That's the
mascot.
Right word.
Oh, mascot's a tough word for you, Cam, huh?
Okay, first of all, the effort you getting that. You're going to get an interview out of me and then snub me at the end?
No, mascot's a hard word sometimes. I understand.
No, mascot's a hard word. Yeah, whatever. You have a doofus. What the F? I hope Malik tears you a new one. I hope Cap tears you a new one. And I hope Neo tears you a new one. You know why?
Why?
You're going to follow the brand, goofy. All right?
Hey, everybody. This is referee Ryan Martin, and thank you for listening to Can Crushers Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Cam the CODA, and I told you a little bit unedited, a little bit of wonky from intro to the way we did everything, but very interesting on everything, what the brand means to him, that kind of not a manager, but a sponsor, and all the wrestlers are sponsors looking to take over and kind of get people essentially all around the United States. And I have somebody in mind, but I won't release any of that here until the near future. When a new era arrives, maybe we'll talk about that. Guys, before I wrap this up, I do want to tell you that I am finished reading the Black Bart book by my friend Vincent Barry. It's his new book. Take the journey through Black Bart's life and through his wrestling career. All 3 decades of being a pro wrestler and what he's done, what he's seen. This has been an amazing book. Again, you hear stories about Dusty Rhodes, Dick Murdoch, Sam Houston, which is a Can Crusher alum, Mr. Fuji, the Von Erichs, Bruiser Brody, and the list goes on and on. This is an easy read. This is an awesome read. If you grew up around my time, you can just picture those matches that he's describing in this book in your head is like you're watching it on NWA TV or WCCW or Mid-Atlantic, Southeastern Championship Wrestling, and the list goes on and on in the promotions as well. Black Bart for me was hated because of Sam Houston. I was that was one of my mom's favorite wrestlers, and I was a baby face with her and always rooting on the underdog, Sam Houston. So I despised Black Bart, but I respected him. And then this book brought out more and more. So if you're looking for this book by Vincent Barry, head over to Amazon. It's on Amazon right now. He will get it up on his Wrestleville podcast website as well, but I know it's available on Amazon, so check it out there. You won't be disappointed if you're a huge Black Bart fan. Again, though, for Cam the CODA, awesome interview, man. Thanks for coming on and giving awareness actually about what the CODA brand is and how we have to watch professional wrestling for them taking over. So, guys, thank you all for always being here with Can Crushers. A little bit of a wonky episode from beginning to end because unedited. Life happens, guys. If you want to know more of the story, tune in on Saturday's show. I'll get a little bit more in detail as I'll have my counterpart with me, Sir Michael Jenks. But remember, make sure you tell your loved ones you love them. 2 legs or 4 legs, because you never know.